This is Ben and Susie Pastore, and here's the condensed version of our trip to East Africa in 2025. After 24 hours of travel, we arrived in the capital of Kenya, Nairobi. We did take a couple of hours just to look around, but mostly we rested up for the next day's drive out to the Masai Mara. Along the way, we took a rest stop at the magnificent Great Rift Valley to take some pictures and take in the views. And yes, even in Africa, an obligatory tourist trap is par for the course. We were both relieved and excited when we arrived at our lodging for the night. This was at the Maasai Heritage Eco Camp, and we absolutely loved our tented room. It was very comfortable, lots of space, and most importantly, it had a good working bathroom. The next morning, we were picked up somewhere around "Are You Kidding Me" o'clock and brought to the staging area for a very special treat. We decided to splurge on a balloon ride at sunrise. And once the balloon was filled with its hot air, we were up and away and floating over the majestic and seemingly endless plains of the Masai Mara National Reserve. Floating above these grasslands is an iconic African moment, and while it was expensive, it was absolutely worth it, as you'll see in the following collage. After about an hour of floating around, we gently touched down, and after that we were whisked away to a special camp that was set up underneath an acacia tree, and there we enjoyed a delicious breakfast with coffee and bacon and eggs, and even got to use a loo with a view, which delivered on both counts. Yet as amazing as that was, we were still just at the start of our day, and what would turn out to be the best game drives we've ever done. Right away, we came across a lioness and her adorable little cub, one of dozens of big cats we wound up seeing in just one day. We saw a few cheetahs, there was a leopard sleeping up in a tree, and we even got to see a pack of lions right after a kill. That was an amazing sight for sure. From there, we kept driving through the rolling grasslands. I just loved having my head up, look around at the scenery. I particularly loved it when we came upon a herd of elephants that gave us some great photo opportunities as well. As much as I love the big cats, elephants are still my favorite. Later on, we were given the opportunity to stretch our legs at the border between Kenya and Tanzania, and we even got to go for a little walk to go see some hippos and crocodiles down by the river. With such an incredible first day under our belts, we didn't think the next day could be as good or even better, but we were surprised. We wound up having the vehicle all to ourselves. That allowed us to get close up to some more lions, see some more elephants grazing, and even get to witness some more beautiful giraffe. The next day we got to explore Lake Nakuru and its namesake national park. And there's two main claims to fame for Nakuru. The first is all the bird life, which was plentiful and all around. The second are the rhinos, which are a member of the Big Five that we got to see up close and personal. Moving on through the park, we saw a bunch of the usual suspects, along with some adorable baby giraffe. We were also treated to another pack of lions, who thought that the side of the road would be an excellent place just to take a nap. Later, we took a break by stretching our legs near a waterfall to take some pictures. We also got to see a colobus monkey, as well as some vervet monkeys on our way out of the park. From Nakuru, we were taken to Lake Naivasha to take a boat ride, which brought us through the submerged old town and allowed us to do some animal spotting from the shore at Crescent Island. From there, it was a really long drive down to the area of Amboseli National Park, but that's where we got our first glimpse of mighty Mount Kilimanjaro. Early the next morning, while Susie slept in, I opted for a dawn nature walk in the company of a Maasai warrior, which not only brought along a cultural element, but also gave me some great views of the mountain as well. After the walk, I stopped by our adorable camp at the base of Mount Kilimanjaro to pick up Susie, and from there we headed into the Kamana Gate of Amboseli National Park. Not long after, we came across our herd of elephant with some adorable little babies, and all that did was whet our appetite for one of Amboseli's signature experiences. Each day, massive herds of elephants gather at a local water source, which causes them to cross the road, giving the tourists the opportunity to see massive trains of elephants pass by. That's just truly spectacular. In fact, it's really hard to describe the feeling of watching this all take place right in front of your eyes. All I can say is, it was awesome. Once the trains had passed to their destination, we set out into the rather arid and dusty landscape to go see some huge herds of zebra and a whole bunch of other animals. It was just animals everywhere. And even though the mountain decided to hide itself behind the clouds, we did get to see Craig, one of the oldest tuskers in the park. The following morning, we were right back out there observing some more of those ridiculously cute little elephant babies. And then after that, we got to see some crowned crane on our way to Lake Amboseli, a seasonal lake that was completely dry when we were there. Kilimanjaro once again decided to be rude and hide behind the clouds, but even so, our travel party had a great time just walking around and taking in the panorama. Our time in Kenya ended at the Namanga border post, where we got into Tanzania, then spent a night in Arusha before heading out to Tarangire National Park for our game drive. Tarangire's claim to fame are its ancient baobab trees, and we certainly saw plenty of those. Early on in the thick brush, we chanced upon an entire giraffe family and saw plenty of zebras along the side of the road, and sometimes even right in the middle of the road. Lunch was at an overlook over the Tara River, where we saw a herd of elephant and did our best to keep our food away from the playful but mischievous monkeys. On our afternoon game drive, it was basically one animal encounter after another. I mean, we had been on safari in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Botswana, but we'd never seen anything quite like this in terms of just the quality animal encounters and even just the sheer numbers. We were really blown away, and we definitely just could not get enough. And it didn't hurt that the landscape was also quite beautiful to look at as well. So by the time we arrived at our tented camp that evening, we were tired, but we were also very happy. Next day saw us cross the Ngorongoro Conservation Area with a peek at the crater, which we'd visit on the way back. But today it was all about making it to one of the highlight places of our trip, the famous Serengeti National Park. After having lunch at the very crowded entrance, we then descended a large hill where we were soon engulfed in the wide open plains and savanna of the Serengeti with barely anyone else around. Since it was the middle of the day, there weren't many animals out in the open, but under the trees, that was a different story, like this family of cheetahs who decided to hang out in the shade, as well as this very enterprising hyena who decided to take a dip by himself. During the rest of the afternoon, it was dominated mostly by big cat sightings like this pride of lions who were quite affectionate with one another. We also had this fully maned young male who just woke up from his cat nap and wasn't quite ready yet without his coffee. And at one point, we saw a lion on a rock and thought we were going to get a full Lion King MGM roar, but instead he wasn't quite finished with his beauty rest. As the evening drew near, we made our way through the acacia-dotted landscape to our lodging even deeper in the park at Shahudia Adventure Camp. This mid-range lodge was awesome, and you were right out there in the wild. We even got paid a visit by a tiny little dik-dik who was just adorable. After our hearty meal and a good night's rest, we were back at it at dawn to watch the sunrise, catch the hippos in and out of the water, and we even got to see the ground side view of people taking the balloon ride we took in the Masai Mara. In fact, if it wasn't for parking, I would say balloon travel has got to be the most enjoyable and peaceful way to go. I just don't have room for it in my garage, you know what I'm saying? The entire morning was filled with animal encounters, such as when we spotted this spotted hyena, pun intended. We saw a very, very squirmy zebra. Didn't realize that was a thing, but apparently it is. We ran into roving herds of elephant wandering through the grasslands, which included more of those adorable little babies that we just couldn't get enough of, and what I assume were a pair of brothers who had to wrestle to show who was the toughest. Speaking of which, we even had this little tough guy who was going to show us who was boss, that is, until he face planted. In the afternoon, we saw some lion cubs lounging under a tree, some zebras enjoying a spa day at the waterhole. Then passing through the Ngorongoro Conservation Area, we saw some lions up in the tree. That was really cool. And we even got to see a mama cheetah with her babies, which was so cute. We ran into a little local traffic on our way to our hotel, but overall it was a beautiful ride back across the mountain, which brought us to the crater lookout point right at sunset for an absolutely breathtaking view of what many call the Eden of Africa. We spent the night at a working coffee plantation, and the following morning we were back through the gate and descending into the Ngorongoro Crater, which is a place I had dreamed of visiting ever since I first read about it some 20 years ago. The crater is actually an intact caldera that's really big, with all the animals living inside, such as lions, ostrich, zebra, Cape buffalo, and even a whole bunch of wildebeest. Whether that's good news or bad news, that's up to you. I'll just show myself out now. After a very satisfying morning of animal encounters, it was time to take a picnic lunch by what seemed to be a very peaceful and tranquil lake. I say seemed to be because apparently we weren't the only ones who decided to show up this day. All too soon we were making our way back up to the crater rim, thereby bringing an end to our final game drive of the trip, but not without one final brief stop to take in the panorama of this amazing natural wonder. But this doesn't mean it was the end of our trip. While most normal people would head home, we're not normal people, and instead we got on a flight to the beautiful and exotic island of Zanzibar. We spent 3 days in and around the area of Paje Beach on the southeastern part of the island, where we got some very much needed rest and relaxation on the shores of the Indian Ocean. From there we made our way up to the Kendwa Nungwi Beach area, where we did some more of the normal touristy things, such as a snorkeling tour out near Nemba Island, as well as a sunset cruise on a traditional dhow boat. Lastly, we spent our final morning exploring the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Stone Town, where we had fun walking through the narrow alleys filled with shops and admiring the distinctly Arabic architecture. We've taken some epic trips over the years, but this one has to rank right at the top of the list. It really was just spectacular on every level. Thanks for joining us on this journey, and before you go, be sure to enjoy the following musical collage of our time on safari.